Stone guy apprehended an African American, which he shot and killed wearing a red jacket. It's
That is
white on black
absolutely
crime.
we are live, and that information is completely false.
Pending. That information is pending right now, folks. Don't believe a word.
No, that's just satire for those of you that don't understand the comedic value of satire. But anyway, thanks for tuning in, everyone. This is Stone Guy 223. Appreciate everybody tuning in. If we could mute when we're not talking or playing with our guns, that would be helpful. So real quick, let's do some introductions left to right. From my left, we've got Daniel.
How you doing?
And next to him, we've got Defend Arizona.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for having me.
And then Kelly M.
I'm Kelly M. I have a very small channel and am working on precision with my firearms.
Awesome. The Tac Daddy. You there? He's probably taking out his dogs again, as usual. Sully.
What's up?
Mr. Cork 71.
Hello, folks.
Then we've got Scoot.
What's up? What's up? Just glad to be here. Long time since I've been in the after chat, but I missed most of the show, so I'm here now.
Gotcha. And then kind of a special guest, man. Sean Heron. We like shooting. What's up, buddy?
What's up, man? How's it going?
Good. Appreciate you hopping over, man.
Absolutely. The wife's out tonight, so I have time to jump on all these.
Hell yeah, dude. It's like having an actual famous person on the show.
That's
great.
ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous.
Or maybe I should have said infamous, right?
How about retarded?
As opposed to everybody else here.
Right, yeah, including myself. But no, anyway, so let's get
thanks
this
a lot,
guys.
Thanks a lot there, jackass.
yeah. Start off my show with racist humor. Nice, Scoot. I knew there was a reason you don't come to these after chats.
I did not start off anything with racist humor. You're the one in question.
All I heard was blue versus red. That's all I heard.
Yeah, exactly. Blue versus red, just like the Halo.
There you go. But, so, Tac Daddy, you back yet? I don't have my camera on. Is he back?
No, not yet.
No, okay. All right. Well, we'll get into it. So apparently, and Sully can kind of help out with this. I did not watch the episode, but today, what is the background noise?
The only time I've ever watched Dr.
Whoop, sorry, Sully.
Muting me and shit. The only time I've ever watched Dr. Phil in my life was specifically to find out what was going on with Stephanie Hayden and all that crap.
Yeah, so let me set the stage for you here. So apparently Stephanie Hayden and was the alleged victim in question on the show as well? Or was it just her?
No, it was the initial victim is her little half sister.
Right. Was she on the show?
No, she was not on Sons of Guns, and she was not on Dr. Phil either. She's actually during the interview they addressed that the 12-year-old's pretty much gone into hiding.
Okay, so that's what I was going to do. I was going to set the stage because apparently Dr. Phil decided it would be prudent to have Stephanie on the show. To me, and to talk about the situation, let me back up here. For those of you that don't know, that Will Hayden, the former owner of Red Jacket Firearms, has been accused of a horrific crime, I guess, for lack of a better term. So at this point, he has been accused. He's not been found guilty. He has not been convicted. And to me, I think it was an incredible lack of judgment, responsibility, poor judgment, and I just don't think it. I think it was a disservice for Dr. Phil to have an interview like this, on a nationally broadcast program before the man's even been tried and convicted, or you know what I mean? Like, to exploit the situation and taint whatever potential jury or the public's opinion about this before he's had his day in court, to me, is a disservice from media.
It's the world we live in. We do that with everything now.
Yeah, I mean, not to say that. I mean, that's just my opinion. Other people might be like, oh yeah, that's right. But I don't know. To me, I thought it was kind of a shitty move. But hey, he probably got a ton of ratings for it. Obviously, we're talking about it, so.
Yeah, don't you think it was a little bit of? I'm sure that they were shopping around Stephanie just a little bit, their PR department, or whoever's handling their PR, because, I mean, bottom line, Red Jacket is going to be just basically over and bankrupt because no one's going to buy there unless they do a little bit and maybe garner a little bit of sympathy. So, I mean, I'm sure that Dr. Phil reached out and his people were definitely trying, but don't you think that this might be a little bit of a, hey, feel sorry for us stunt so we don't go out of business and lose our livelihood? I mean, they lost their show already. Hayden didn't own the place anymore. The people that did are decidedly, or I wouldn't say decidedly, but generally regarded as decent people from people that know them that I've talked to. And, I mean, as responsible as Dr. Phil is, I think that Stephanie is just as responsible.
Well, it's also an entertainment value. I mean, Dr. Phil doesn't do this show if it doesn't provide some sort of entertainment and brings in some sort of revenue. So, you could be right. It could be agenda either way here.
Yeah, agreed.
Well, and I think you hit on something real important there, because it's generating, obviously, ratings and revenue. And I realize that in the world we live in today, especially with mainstream media, that's really what drives. That's kind of the catalyst for all these stories is ratings and potential profit or potential money making. And I think that's, to me, that's not what media should be about. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be. They're like selling the sizzle. They're selling at any cost, and in some cases, completely fabricating stories and scenarios just to be the first to break the story and get those ratings and get that revenue. And I just don't think that's the way it should be, but who am I?
Like
Nobody
I said,
important.
I am
Right.
completely unfamiliar with this, but when you say there's a child involved and there's a horrendous crime, my mind goes to one direct spot.
Yes.
Is that what we are talking about?
It is. And
Okay, thank you.
I just don't even, I can't even,
Yeah.
it just
No.
makes my skin crawl to say it, so I didn't want to say
Yeah, no,
anything.
that's fine. Just those two words together. I was pretty sure I knew what you were talking about, but I wanted to make sure.
Yeah. So now I guess we'll give Tack Daddy and or Sully an opportunity to go over kind of a brief overview of the show, what your interpretation was. I know, Tack, you had some strong feelings based on your education with communication,
Yeah,
body language and stuff.
I'll just say that in terms of Stephanie's story and her explaining it and answering questions, and obviously, again, you don't think that she goes on to Dr. Phil and doesn't know exactly what's going to be asked. Her attorneys at this point are not going to let that happen. So even though she was prepared, and I realize that, I will tell you that, and I'm no expert, but I definitely studied interpersonal and still pay attention to communication and all that kind of stuff, and there were zero red flags in terms of any of the classic signs of somebody looking for an answer, making up an answer, stammering, tapping feet, being fidgety, again, looking up to the left, looking up to the right. There's all kinds of things you can look for in body language. And I watched that interview and I sat there and I was like, holy shit, she's completely got me believing that she's telling nothing but the truth. And I didn't know what to expect. And it is, and again, what's up everybody on the panel? Sorry I wasn't on when you guys got started. And you're absolutely right. I think it's Kelly, is that who just spoke before me? It's disgusting, beyond disgusting. it's pure evil. It's pure evil. You're doing things to children that for the rest of their lives they're going to have to deal with, and you're a sick fuck if you're looking for sexual pleasure in anything other than someone your own age.
Yeah. My background is in social psychology, so I have to ask, when you're talking about the interpersonal communications and stuff, and that she was obviously to you she was telling the truth because she wasn't doing certain body actions, the eye evasion and stuff like that. Just to play devil's advocate, because I knew nothing about this story, could she have been overly rehearsed, though?
I'm pretty good with a bullshit detector, and it did not go off.
Okay, good.
That's all I can tell
not good for her, but good that somebody isn't seeking.
Well, and you'll see some of the answers. Some of the questions were, again, based on things that have just happened, so there couldn't have been weeks of rehearsal.
Okay, that's just horrid.
Well, and again, what she was also saying was that, again, so let's look at it and answer that, because it's a great question. She also said that the answer she was giving the police prior to her now coming around and saying, you know what, it's time for me to tell the truth, she was saying that her father was telling her exactly what to say, i.e. it was scripted.
Okay.
We stand behind him and all that kind of stuff.
And how old is this young lady? Little girl?
The girl that was abused was 12. The older daughter that's now telling the story is in her 30s. She was saying that it happened to her when she was 12. There's a friend of the family that's saying that it happened to her when she was 12. There's a common thread there that they kept pounding on the interview.
God bless the 30-year-old, because you are right. I mean, this is not something that even at 30, she may be able to logically understand it, she'll get it, but the repercussions are always going to be there for her in one form or another. I mean, she's just always going to have them. And the young child now, she's always going to have them also.
Well, even more so, because it was way more regular, and it was way more activity. And that's what has caused her to look back and say, you know what, yep, that happened to me too.
I'm glad she had somebody to stand up with her.
So, as far as what, like, obviously I didn't see the interviews. So what was kind of the general, I'd say, like, the motive, I guess. What do you think the motive was, or what was Dr. Phil's main questions or purpose for having her on there? Was it just simply to tell a story? I mean, because normally, all these shows like Dr. Phil, they want to get help for these people, and they want to,
No, he might have done that when he was on the Oprah show, but all the intros and all the show he's a salacious asshole. I mean, the stuff that he's putting on, he's looking for the ratings, and he's looking for the shock, and he's looking for the.
So there wasn't a purpose.
There wasn't a warm and fuzzy message to it. It was tell the story, get the ratings.
Yeah, I know this is hard on you, but tell me more details about that episode. I mean,
Yeah. Dr. Phil might as well turn in his medical license and just be a TV personality at this point, because that's all he's practicing. He's not practicing medicine. He's practicing ratings.
Yeah.
Well, would you guys, either Tack or Sully, would you guys
go ahead, Sully,
maybe give us some more detail for, like, as far as what kind of things was Stephanie saying now that we haven't heard?
All right. Well, she went ahead and she said that after talking to her younger sister that she believes her 100%. I think the count's up to 5 or 6 total victims, not all of whom are coming forward. She went into detail as to what happened to her at age 12, which was a one-time thing because she kind of bolted, and I guess Will Hayden didn't try again with her, but then...
Wait. So you're telling me he did this to Stephanie, allegedly, allegedly did this to Stephanie at age 12.
Yes.
And yet...
Hold on. The story as she told it, let's make sure everyone understands. The story as she told it was that she was 12. She sat on his lap one night when he was drunk. He started kissing on her neck. He started kissing down to her chest. And at that point, she squirmed away and escaped. That was the extent of the sexual encounter. So I don't want to act like sexual intercourse was involved with Stephanie, because she did not say that.
Yeah, and
right, but the
I
whole
wasn't going into detail.
the whole point was that if that happened, allegedly, that happened to her, why would she at all question the validity of her sister's statements?
Later in the interview, Dr. Phil was talking to her about why she said that she didn't believe that it happened, and she blatantly said, "My father told us to say those things." So
he had a lot of there was a lot of power control going on there. The classic threatening of all the different, everything from physical stuff to obviously a lot of mental stuff. But he was definitely the alpha.
And a lot of the reason that people won't come forward is because they don't have the definite in-place backup system. Be it a mother that is going to believe you, as opposed to a mother that would say, "Oh no, my husband would never do that," or an older sister or a cousin. That network just isn't there. And when you're told that nobody is going to believe you and you're a child, you believe nobody's going to believe you, and that this person is just going to get away with it. I mean, it's a classic.
It's the most powerful man in your life.
Yeah, and it really is a classic way of doing it. You start out slow. Frequently they will try the waters. Okay, this one isn't biting. His oldest daughter got up and put down her, foot, and he thought, "Oh shit, I'm going to get nailed." So he didn't try again, obviously, with her, but doesn't stop him from trying with other people that he knows he can manipulate.
So Sully, what else did she say? That she said something about her friend?
yeah, one of her friends from when she was a kid, I guess, I don't know if she's made a public statement, but has come forward to Stephanie about it. And then there was one other non-specified person that she had mentioned. And apparently, now another article I saw that's not necessarily related to the interview, apparently Will Hayden had controlled Stephanie's finances even into adulthood. So there is a massive amount of manipulation going on. Allegedly. I'll stick with the allegedly because I know Stone likes that.
Yeah, I don't want to, like I said, to me, I don't know. I guess if you can separate it, but to me, I never like seeing social media or talk shows or mainstream media put someone on trial outside of the venue of a courtroom. You know what I mean? Like, but I know it's like an inevitable thing you're never going to get away from, but I just don't like it personally. That's
no.
Oh, and I can say I'm 47 years old, and I have never once had anybody come up to me and say this was happening where it wasn't really happening. I've never seen somebody make up a story, unfortunately.
Well, now, just to play devil's advocate here, I have.
Okay.
There's a lot of vindictive women that would, and to me, that's incredibly vindictive. If you're going to make up a story of something,
oh, exactly,
make up something else. It's like eat you or hit you, like seriously.
I can think of an entire lacrosse team that would disagree that these things are never made up.
Yeah.
And that's a perfect reason why. That's a perfect reason, Stone, why we should say allegedly, is because it's not in a court of law and it has not been proved. And we just had two differing experiences right there. So, very good point to somebody in
Yeah, and
in the mass media.
The fact of the matter is I don't, like Yeager did a video the other day, basically imploring us to support Red Jacket for what it is, for the people that work there, for the great people behind actual Red Jacket, and not Will Hayden, because he's not the owner anymore, hasn't been for some time now. But to me, I don't think you're ever, for the general populace, I don't think they're ever going to see that disconnect between him and Red Jacket. Like, with the TV show, like, he's always going to be the face of Red Jacket. And I think that sucks for the people of Red Jacket now. What do you guys think about that? Do you think
that'll fade away?
Also, to go along with that, as this comes to light in fortuition, if he is found guilty, I mean, as far as I know, Will Hayden was a Marine, and that kind of taints that reputation in a way, because people will always look at it and how can you trust one of our servicemen when crap like this is going down?
Even if he's found innocent, he's gonna, or at least Red Jacket's gonna suffer from this.
Absolutely.
For a long
I think the
time.
reputation of the United States Marine Corps is pretty secure. I mean, look, we've had a lot of former service member and current active duty service members do some pretty horrific things. I mean,
I'm just talking about
back in
1993. Well, back in 1993, like when those sailors and that Marine raped that little Japanese girl and killed her, I mean, that's what I'm kind of talking about, how it does damage. Whenever something a Marine does, in the paper, it is always like United States Marine. If it's a soldier, if it's an airman, if it's a sailor, there's not a whole lot of, he was in the military.
I'm just talking about Red Jacket. It's gonna be tough for Red Jacket.
Yeah.
Either way, it's because of the television show. If it wasn't for the television show, they probably wouldn't be as big as they are right now. Now that the television show is gone, they're gonna lose business. That's just matter of fact. And this Will Hayden situation is going to hurt their business no matter what, because people are going to be ignorant about the facts. They're just going to hear this. They're going to hear the accusations against him, and say that I'm not going to do business because he's associated with them or owns it. Because they don't know the difference that he's been not even associated with them anymore.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they're not losing any of my business, so it's never that turned on by their products in the first place.
It's a sad situation, and obviously the media will continue to cover the trial, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and he's going to go to jail. I mean, it's obvious.
Yeah, it's looking like it. I mean, the evidence is kind of not stacked in his favor for sure, but.
Just remember, though, innocent until proven guilty. If he is guilty, I wish the maximum sentence will be, put against him.
Yeah.
If he's innocent, he's got to live this down the rest of his life.
And prison really likes child molesters.
Oh.
He's a former Leo, so he's never going to be put in Gen Pop. He's going to be put in isolation.
Yeah, because if he wasn't a cop, he'd probably be dead within a few days. There was a and I don't think it was in U.S., but there was a dude who raped and killed a 2-month-old baby or a 2-year-old baby or something. He was dead within like a few days. They just stabbed him. Yeah, child molesters don't last very long.
That's just sick.
Well, the funny thing is that, well, not the funny thing, but even these hardened criminals have some sort of emotion about taking away at least the innocence of a child.
Oh, yeah.
Children of their own, that there's like, you're a child molester? Yeah, he's usually shanked within a week.
Yeah, there's definitely a code among prisoners, and rapists, and that's the next. That's one. Whether it be rape, or child rape's first, and then rape second. Those people normally do not fare well in prison.
No, they don't.
I have really bad comments about the man rape that goes on in prison. That's perfectly allowed. But anyway, it is something that is incredibly disgusting, and any father of a daughter looks at this story and just looks at that guy with a different set of glasses. There's just no way you can't, regardless of, again, innocent until proven guilty, all that stuff. Again, I just watched his daughter. If I was a jury member and she was put on the stand and answered the questions the way she answered today, he's.
Well, I did not see the show, so I cannot, comment on that. But
on all of that, but yeah.
Yeah, and it takes a lot more than just how compelling a person is. When they give testimony, I mean, look, you that have studied psychology and psychiatry and related fields, a sociopath can be very compelling when they lie.
Oh yeah.
So you don't know what makes up this person just because they're able to answer things in a very compelling way does not necessarily mean that it's true.
Well,
understood, but I would believe that for him to get arrested and have all those charges put on him, I would believe they probably have some physical evidence in addition to the testimony of several people in writing.
I'd certainly hope so. To go as far as it's gone, and that's all going to bear out in court, and it will, it'll all come to light.
Wait, hold on. Let's see, Yankee, you having a problem? Let's see if we can hear you.
My mic hasn't been working. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you.
Yes, sir.
Okie dokie. The only thing I was going to say is, like our friend over here, my background is in social services and psychology, and I'm not going to pass any judgment right now because about 50% of the time, all the convincing stories of, molestation by parents are false. So it can go either way. So I mean, now does all everything add up to make it look like he's guilty? Yeah, everything that I would have to see before I would bring this in front of a judge is there. But like I say, even when everything lines up and when they look like they're telling the truth, about half the time it turns out they're not. I mean, everyone remembers the story recently about a brother and sister that were trying so hard to get their father out of jail because they had put him in jail 20 years earlier with the help of coaching from their mom and their mom's new boyfriend and everything else. So.
Did you see the interview?
No, I don't watch Dr. Phil. And for one, people are saying he should lose his medical license. He doesn't have a medical license. He's not a real doctor.
Well, Dr. Phil is not a real doctor.
No, he's not as qualified as I am. I have a master's degree in psychology. He has a bachelor's.
Oh, gosh, I could start my own show.
Well, only if you sucked Oprah's dick first.
I'll pass on that, but thank you for the advice.
Welcome to the segment of the day.
He was just a guy that worked for the prosecution when she was being sued by the beef industry, who she liked and decided to give a show to.
Crazy.
For the defense. He worked for the defense. Sorry.
Nice.
Oprah used to be a crack whore in Baltimore. Don't be fooled.
Well, I guess that's enough about that.
Yeah.
Kind of covered that. So, Tack, what else did we not cover in your show that we needed to? I thought there was a couple other things that we.
The Noir show we didn't get to.
Oh yeah, Noir. Did anybody watch Noir?
I have fallen behind on that.
Negative.
I have fallen behind, meaning I have never watched it since the first episode.
I watched two.
Going hot.
Going
hot.
Well, I think they stole Tech Daddy's idea for the start there.
Well, I mean, it wasn't bad in any way, and I know shows take their time to hit a rhythm. It's just, it wasn't geared towards me. I'm not some super cool hip hopper with a 250,000 a year income that likes guns. So it wasn't geared towards me. So I was like, okay, not for me.
It's got to be a 150. You don't have to be quite up to 250. Just
going hot.
Middle-aged white guys that live in suburbia and are middle class are obviously not their target demographic.
No.
It kind of reminds me of one of these shows that's promoting this alternative gun lifestyle.
What I didn't get.
Well, we're different. We're young and we like guns, and therefore, I mean, it's like we're this totally different lifestyle from everyone else because we like guns, and I don't buy the premise.
Well, they're trying to steer it away from like either being hunters or being like ultra tactical with all the 5.11 shit, right? So I mean, they're just trying to make it like they use the term athletic shooting, right? They're trying to appeal to like more and more people who are normal, who like play sports and stuff like that. They're trying to make guns seem like another sport to do.
Yeah, but like athletic Dan Bilzerian types or something, people with lots and lots of money.
Well, look, if you want to get in shape and shoot guns, join the army, man.
They're still showing H&Ks and all those kind of 1%er guns, but they are running the courses with Mossbergs because they're sponsored by Mossberg, but they're also running with like Smith & Wesson 1522s and stuff like that, other like mid-range guns. So they're not all like
not just the guns. It's just the attitude and the speech and the everything about the show is not geared towards me.
Well, I was going to say, and I don't want this to come across racist in any way, but to me, it's like, see, not all black guys that are interested in guns are gangsters. Some of us are wealthy and do really well, and we still like our guns.
Yeah, but there was this whole other weird thing going on, talking about this athletic shooter thing. It's just this classification of people that I don't understand what they're trying to get. I don't understand what the point is of this shootout of the athlete. It's just weird.
Yeah, and it's definitely not reaching the common person. I agree with what he said. It's like they're trying to create this subclass of gun owner that's like, look, they're hip, cool, young. What about just portray them as they're just normal people? Everybody that's normal owns a gun. Half normal people own a gun.
I get what they're trying to do with the athletic shooter thing. I actually do. They're trying to give you a socially acceptable way to play with guns without being a hunter or being a tactical prepper freak person. The only problem is they're really targeting ex or former athletes, former sports players, the 1%er who has no real reason to own a gun except for to play with it.
There's a little term coined about a couple of years ago. It was the tactical metrosexual. The guy that shows up with the Daniel Defense gun, the Under Armour T-shirt that's 2 sizes too tight, and the sleek form-fitting 5.11 pants, and the $1,400 high-tech boots or whatever they're.
Wait, stop.
For the record,
Stop talking about it.
For the record, Under Armour is supposed to be 2 sizes tight. That's why I don't wear it.
Do it for guys like me that show up in jean shorts, flip-flops with our Smith & Wesson.
Yeah,
Hey, I took my training class in skinny jeans and Vans shoes.
Well, Daniel, would you say that his show is aimed toward people like you?
Yeah, probably the 21 to 35 age group.
And if you want to be
I feel like his show's always been.
Then embrace your tactical metrosexual. That's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Now,
that's not for me.
When you guys say the sporting group, are you talking about the different gun sports like PCA and
IDPA
or,
and US? Not like that, like just like basketball.
Beyond. Okay, so there's studs in other sports, so therefore it's just carrying on into their gun sports.
That whole metrosexual shooter thing is too much work. I'm not waxing to go to the range.
Yeah, the kind of sports they're aiming at least the little bit I've seen of the show is like the extreme mountain biker or the white water rapids type. They're seeking that thrill.
Okay.
The guest commentator they have right now is a former women's college basketball player. So I wouldn't go with the extreme thrill seeker aspect of that.
Well, I mean, I understand what they're doing. I mean, they're going to try to win over these young guys that like sports and like, like X Games kind of stuff, and they're trying to win those people over because they want to win them over. I mean, let's face it, they're not going to make any of us that already are pro-Second Amendment anti-Second Amendment by offending us, so they got nothing to lose by going after these people wholeheartedly.
Makes sense.
They're going after the next
Yeah.
generation. You know,
They've
And the
never
other-
their show has never been aimed towards half of the majority of people on this chat, right? So yeah, like you guys always talk about how it's not aimed towards you guys. It's not really aimed towards you
Saying
guys.
that you're an ageist and a racist because you're saying old white guys. We know exactly what you're saying.
Well,
Hey, wait, that
young
just
rich
became
kids.
sexist because old white woman here, you know.
I can't make
Yeah,
that shit.
exactly. And by the way, the proper term for me is old fat white guy.
Okay. All right, so let's tack. What else? Now that we've talked in the war, I don't know if I can.
There's a-
War. I mean, it is what it is. It's. I think we're all gonna find something to bitch about with him. What else? Oh,
I
excuse me.
needed to do a couple quick shout outs and then I got a jam. But I was on the Bill Frady radio show yesterday, so if you didn't see that, go check that out on his Wednesday show. He's got a good daily show that's pretty cool. And I wanted to shout out Destiny's run for suicide awareness that she's got coming up.
Yeah.
So I didn't get that in on the live show, but I'll do that again next week. But she's got that coming up, so if any way you can support that, or whether you be a content creator that can put out videos to get more awareness, or push her videos out, or whatever, just let her know we sent you over there.
Nice. And there was another challenge put out, the hot dog shoot. You guys seen this one?
Well, you do realize that September
What is it?
Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, and this is the Kilted to Get Cancer Month.
No, I'm not sure about that. It's I had to go back and look. That there was a pretty big group of channels that are doing trying to push, and they're trying to catch hold like the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, but it's called a hot dog shoot or the hog shoot or something. Basically, they're getting everybody to dress up like a 2-liter bottle and shoot it, blow it up or whatever. But there's a Fund It program, and they're doing. I'll get more information, but they're doing it for a good cause. I can't think of it right now. Damn, it was one of those, like Lou Gehrig. Not Lou Gehrig. That's the ALS. Fuck. Oh, it's gonna drive me nuts. It was a worthwhile charity event, but I don't know. Y'all look for it on your own. It's called the hot dog shoot. It's all over YouTube. So eventually, if you haven't seen it, you'll probably see it. But that one was pretty cool.
I'll definitely check that out, but I'd also encourage you to check out the Kilted to Get Cancer prostate cancer drive that's going on. It's their 3rd or 4th year doing this. And 1 in 7 men will get prostate cancer. So it's a very important thing.
It is, and I don't mean to belittle it, but there's also, again, there's only so many YouTubers out there in the gun community, and when someone's putting forth the type of effort that Destiny's going to do for this thing, I think we should all do whatever we can to support it. And again, even if that's just watch it and give her support while she's on the treadmill, she's literally going to do a half marathon, I think.
Damn.
Wow.
Check out her channel. Everyone knows who she is.
Maybe I'll have to run my fat butt around doing this as well, and in the kilt.
Well, yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna watch that
Did
video
I
because traditionally nothing is worn underneath a kilt.
I was going to say, did I hear kilt? I'm like totally watching that.
Yes, the prostate cancer thing is Kilted to Get Cancer, and I want to find out more about what Destiny's doing, so I'm going to look at that and see if I can combine the two.
Okay.
So as long as I don't fall down, we'll all be safe.
Quark will be busy at home doing Kegel exercises.
Oh. Well, what I think we had another. What was the other thing you wanted to cover tonight, Tad?
I think that is it. Hold on.
Did we get everything?
Shout out to Digital Prophet.
This one's
And
fake.
DP.
DP. He's the man. Yeah, that's it. Those guys from Talking Lead were fun.
By the way,
Yeah,
Tack Daddy, when are you gonna get a jacket that actually fits you? I mean, I know you gotta get it custom tailored because even a child small is 2 sizes too large.
I'm gonna take some pictures for you soon, just for you. I have a Ric Flair robe, a real one. You know, like the real one that he actually really wore to the wrestling ring.
No shit.
I'm gonna
You'll
get
actually
naked and
drown
put
in
that shit
that.
on. Sky blue.
Alright, so on to the next topic.
Yes, that's correct.
At hand. We had to hit everything systematically, you know. I don't know. Has anybody got anything they want to bring up? I mean, I think they've all said in gun channels we're missing the 9/11, but
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you know, it's 13-year anniversary.
I mean, to me, I don't know what I could talk about. You know, it's kind of one reason I didn't make a full chat about 9/11 because we're 13 years later. I mean, obviously, I do my own thing. I don't think I need to broadcast or have a show about 9/11 to show my respect and admiration and condolences for people that fought for our country and gave their lives. You know, I do that on my own time, my own personal thing. You know,
and I think it's important to still have
you broke up,
men and
Sean.
women of our arms. Oh, any better?
Yeah, we just missed the first part of it.
Okay, I think it's important to just remember that we still have our men and women of the armed forces deployed in very bad places, doing very bad things, so that very bad things don't happen here to us.
Exactly. Thank you for
Just
remembering
remember,
them.
Yeah.
And
Just remember the
honestly,
sacrifice of-
I don't. And to me, I think it's bullshit that people only want to recognize that shit on 9/11. I remember that shit every day. I don't. It's like fucking holiday, you know. That's a kind of a cop out and a bullshit way to be when the only time you're going to make a reference to something and give something any attention is when it falls on a certain day. Fuck that. I remember those people and our soldiers and what they do for our country every day. Not just on 9/11, not just on Veterans Day. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, and you know you're absolutely right, but unfortunately, too large a segment of the American populace has the attention span of a botfly, and there are people that don't know that we still have people deployed. We still have people in Afghanistan. We still have people out there in harm's way. They think, oh, well, Obama brought everybody home, right?
Oh,
I mean, there's literally people that believe that, and just don't know what our warriors are out there doing for us every day, and it's deplorable. But if we have a public venue, take some time to remind them.
And unfortunately, the longer it drags on, the less people remember that it is still going on, because it's not, like you said, it's not right there in front of them anymore. It's, for those of us that are military spouses, it's still very much in our mind, especially those of us that are military spouses who lived in D.C. and are living back in D.C. area again. I mean, it's was a really tough time, and people who were very, very patriotic afterwards, it's waned a bit, and we have the lowest number now. From what I've heard, it's the lowest number of congressmen ever that are serving in Congress and stuff that do not have any military service. So, they're not leading from oh gee, well, we encountered this war, or we were in this war. It's, oh, those people.
Not to mention they're all multimillionaires.
Yeah. No.
Well, I wouldn't say all. I've met quite a few who went to Washington who were not multimillionaires. Yes, they raised quite a bit of money for their campaigns, but that didn't go into their pockets.
That happens afterwards at the consulting jobs.
They still make
A lot
more
of
money
truth
than
to
the
that.
average human being in America.
Yeah. Well, while in Congress and after Congress, that's a different story. But getting there takes a lot.
Oh,
What you do
gosh.
with it once you're there, it shows a lot of your personal character. What you do with it after you get there.
Yes, it does.
And there is not a damn thing wrong with making a lot of money if you're doing good things.
Well, I agree. But I don't know.
Well, what else we got?
So we have our case that we filed against the University of
I think that's it
Florida.
for me, guys. I'm out. I got a busy day tomorrow, so I'll check you out later. Thanks again
Night,
for everybody.
guy.
All right, see you,
watching
Tech.
and
All right, Tech.
participating.
Night,
Oh
man.
yeah, appreciate
See you,
it, brother.
Tech.
Later.
Later, Tech. Preston's fake.
So we filed a lawsuit against the University of Florida for
Was that me or did he break up?
He just stopped.
He stopped.
Yeah,
Okay.
stopped.
I was like, shit, did my computer crash?
I got excited. He's
Thankfully,
suing.
a couple cameras are on so I can see people moving.
He got dropped out.
Yeah,
I got
he
ex-
must be having some issues.
I got excited, man. He said he's suing my alma mater.
Here's a little interesting tidbit. Like I said, we live in the D.C. area, and a group of Girl Scouts wanted to know more about guns, as their Boy Scout troops are allowed to learn about rifles and everything and have an instructor. And the Girl Scout Council of America told them flat out, no, absolutely not. Girls do not need to know anything about guns.
Sexist.
Yeah.
Sexist.
Totally.
Sexist, women's rights, women's suffrage.
I'm surprised MSNBC is not asking, for the head of the Girls Scouts of America to step down.
Well, that's because it's dealing with firearms. It was how to whittle properly, and they said no because you don't need to know how to use a pocket knife.
Yeah.
I'll teach him myself.
Exactly.
I thought you were going. Why haven't you left?
I'm not sure where I dropped out there.
University of Florida.
You said you were suing the University of Florida.
Yeah, we have a lawsuit against the University of Florida for them prohibiting students from, they're putting additional restrictions over what state law is for students being able to keep firearms stored lawfully in their cars.
Yes.
The other thing is, the case is against the university for violating Florida's right to bear arms and prohibiting those students from having firearms in their homes, their university-managed homes.
Yes.
The university conceded that university-managed housing is a home for these students.
Do they have an armory?
They will let you store a firearm at the university police department. However, that does you no good if you're attacked on campus. And here's what's going on at the University of Florida right now. There have been 4 sexual assaults in the past few days.
There's a rapist running around.
And the university also bans pepper spray and tasers and anything else you might carry for self-defense. The stores are all sold out of pepper spray because students are just ignoring that part. because that part's only a misdemeanor, not a felony. If you have a firearm, it's a felony. So the students are ignoring that regulation, and they have bought out every bit of pepper spray they can get their hands on. Our lawsuit, the lower court judge, and this is before the sexual assault started happening, dismissed our case and said, yeah, Florida's right to bear arms lie inside your home. Apparently, he just didn't say why. He just dismissed our constitutional challenge, dismissed the whole case. So we're going up on appeal with that now, which we always expect anytime we file a Second Amendment or a related case in the lower courts. I always expect to lose in the lower courts and have to go to the appellate court where we actually have some intellectually honest judges. There are some intellectually honest judges at the lower level, but unfortunately they've been fairly few and far between. So that's moving forward. The press has been calling relentlessly, wanting to know more about the case now, especially in light of these sexual assaults. And the police held a press conference the other day and said, look, these things sometimes happen in seconds, and we can't be everywhere. And traveling groups, that's their only answer.
Hey, Sean. So I actually went to University of Florida, and I wish you had this lawsuit probably 6-7 years ago when I was there, and living on campus. Because when you live in a dorm, you can't have your firearm in your home, and yes, you can have it at the police office, the police station. But even so, if you keep it at the police station, there is a specific route you have to take in and out of campus to go directly to the police station, and then you have to go straight out of campus after you pick it up to go to the range or anything. It's pretty ridiculous.
That's part of our lawsuit, is them having the specific route. They also say that the gun has to be unloaded, which Florida law says you can have a gun in your car on campus. Period. Amen. It doesn't have to be unloaded. You don't have to use a specific route. They're definitely doing things that are not allowed for by Florida law, and we do have probably the strongest preemption law, firearms preemption law in the country. In 2011, we amended the law to add more teeth to it, and we won a very similar case against the University of North Florida. So I know we're going to win this at the appellate level now that we're in front of the right court, and it is the same Court of Appeals that sitting en banc, which means all of the judges of the appellate court ruling on the case, that we won in front of with the University of North Florida case back in December.
Yeah, because they have on campus, they have a couple hundred of these blue light boxes, basically like a little half a telephone pole that just has a red button. You push that button, and then that contacts the emergency police service, right? But then again, it's pretty much the same as calling 911, so it's not like it really helps you in that situation.
Right, and they'll show up in a few minutes, and it'll either be the campus police or it'll be the Gainesville Police Department that show up, whoever they communicate with that can get there fastest. But like the police chief said in their press conference the other day, these things happen quite often in seconds, and it takes them a few minutes to respond. So good luck, and by the way, you can't even have pepper spray on our campus.
Yeah.
Well, was the police chief for it or against it?
The police chief has not really said much about what the current policy is. It's not really her job. Her job is to enforce the law. And
you have a female police
regulations
chief?
as in yes. As are interpreted by the college, so it's not really her thing. Now, what's interesting is the president of the University of Florida is named Bernie Manchin. He was also the president of the University of Utah when Utah passed campus carry.
Yeah, that's awesome. But see, to me,
he tried to ignore Utah's law and got sued by the Attorney General of Utah and lost. And then he comes to Florida, takes over the University of Florida, and we sue him. So this
Yeah, now,
guy's
see,
been
I don't
fighting
know-
against campus carry in 2 states and has been sued twice for it.
I don't know how relative it is, but the fact that you do have a woman police chief, and this, I don't hope this doesn't come across as sexist, but to me it would seem like, from a female perspective, that she would be maybe a little more understanding of especially the female population of the students in a campus setting like that, and see the need for a self-defense option for young ladies in a college campus. You know what I mean? When you hear about the assaults and that sort of stuff, it seems like from a woman would maybe sympathize more with the possibility of a sexual assault. That makes sense.
If you're not familiar with Amanda Collins, go look her up. She is a huge proponent of campus carry. She was, while going to college, raped on campus. She says she had ample opportunity to stop her rapist had she been able to be carrying with her level of training and level of skill and the actual incident that happened to her. Her rapist went on to murder someone a couple of weeks later before finally being caught. Our individual plaintiff in the case against the University of North Florida, during the case, and she only came out publicly with this recently, and we haven't said a word about it until now because we knew about it at the time, but didn't say anything about it because that was her wishes at the time. But during the case against the University of North Florida, so she could at least keep her gun in her car so that she could be safe during her commutes back and forth to school, she was sexually assaulted also during the case. We're putting, unfortunately, a lot of young women going to college in a situation where they're in many aspects more vulnerable than they would be in any phase of their previous life, living at home, going to high school, and everything else. And we're putting them into an environment where they're more likely to be victimized in colleges, and we're taking away from them their ability to have an effective means of self-defense, and it's just unconscionable.
Well, I have a
so
question.
we're fighting against it, and we're fighting against it hard, and that's why our members pay their dues.
Do you know what their policies are? Like, how do they, if you have a gun in your car, are they actively, as that campus, actively search everybody's vehicle as it comes in to find if there is a gun in the vehicle or not automatically?
I don't think so.
Previously, before we won the UNF case, if you were caught with a gun in your car, and there have been searches where someone said, "Oh, well, I know this person owns guns," so campus police show up and say, "Let me see inside your car." They don't have a warrant, of course, but they pressure them and say, "Well, if you don't, you're going to be suspended or expelled."
Yeah, that's BS.
So we know of incidents like that where the police actually use not only their police authority but the additional authority of the university to compel people to do things.
That in itself should be against. It probably is against the law.
Somebody should be suing the university police department just for that, on that basis alone.
Yeah,
that's pretty messed up.
And actually, I don't know if we have room in the chat, but our attorney, he is around, and Stone Guy, if you would, because I don't know his Google Plus, but if you could shoot me a link, let me send that over to him. Bring him in. He's the
yeah, I'll send it
for Florida Carry.
Can we send it to you on? Can we send it to you on Gun Channels?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
And give me just 1 second to coordinate with him, and I'll be back in a minute.
Okay. Okay, I am going to drop off and listen, and I enjoyed speaking with all of you. So thank you for allowing me on your chat.
Oh yeah, appreciate you coming.
Okay, talk to you later, Stone Guy.
All right, see ya.
But
Look, I don't even see him logged into Gun Channel. Oh well. Well, has anybody got anything local going on? Do they your local area do anything for 9/11? Any kind of parades or ceremonies or anything like that?
Boise, Idaho, they're going to be having some fireworks and moment of silence and celebrate America downtown. That's what they're doing.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty America out here. It's awesome. 4th of July, they had a solid 35-minute fireworks show downtown Boise. They do what they can out here, and most of the flags are at half-mast all day. So.
Well, what else we got going on? I want to have dead air until Florida Carrie gets back. You've been practicing your stuff from your training at all, or?
No, I haven't had time this week. But I was going to ask you guys, I am going on a long-range shooting trip this weekend, basically driving out to some public land and shooting. And I was wondering what's some good environmentally friendly targets that I can use, because we're going to shoot steel as well, but I want to shoot like something, like a water bottle or a can or something. Is there anything like good food related that I can just shoot and not have to worry about like cleaning every little last bit?
Well, fruit, if you want to shoot watermelons and stuff, you're feeding a bunch of animals at that point. I don't think anybody would have protested that.
Anybody ever shot like peppermints or crackers or anything like that? I was thinking those.
No, that wouldn't hurt anything. I think if you can eat it, if it goes on the ground, it's not going to harm the environment.
Yeah, the lead bullet will probably harm it more.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I'll just
Now,
buy a box of crackers.
When you say long range, what are you talking?
So we have a straightaway, probably at least 800 yards. I'm gonna take this out there and
that's...
blast some shit. So I'm making 308 ammo right now.
Do you
send me a couple of boxes?
Do you have any steel?
Steel targets?
targets,
Yeah, there's some people bringing steel targets.
Honestly, dude, at that distance, it's gonna be way more fun if you can hear the report of some steel, versus trying to range and find a hit on paper. You need something audible or reactive at that range to where you can tell if you're hitting.
A good cheap alternative for gongs too is discs, from disc plows and stuff. That's what I use on my 500-yard hill range. I just have old used discs, hang them off good old rebar or T-posts, and they work. They gong, and they're hard enough. But don't do it within 200 yards. You'll start punching a hole through.
Okay.
If you go find an old farm, they probably got some.
Stone Guy is like pounding on that keyboard.
Oh shit! Sorry, I thought I was muted.
Stone Guy, you sound worse on the keyboard than I do, apparently.
I know, right?
Hey, Eric, I thought it was you at first.
All right, now we got Eric in here. He can give us the details here.
Details on what?
Well, I don't know. Whatever Florida brought you in here for.
I was telling them about the Florida case and the current events on campus.
Oh, the UF.
Yeah, so along with some of the tactics that the university that we've seen the university police use in the past with going to students and saying, oh yeah, let us someone said that you might have a gun, so let us see inside your car, and if you don't, well, yeah, we don't have a warrant, but if you don't, you might face academic sanctions, and using both the standard things that police do when they want to do a search, plus bringing in these this idea that you're going to get suspended or expelled or face academic problems when the university police doing it.
Yeah, there's been 5 reported attacks at UF, one of which has now been determined. They said that not that the young lady was making up that she was attacked, but that she was rather intoxicated. I know that's shocking that some young lady at University of Florida was highly intoxicated, but that she was highly intoxicated at the time, and maybe it didn't go down exactly like she said it did, but they basically decided that if anything happened, it wasn't tied to the other circumstances they're looking at. So there's only been 4 kids attacked, not 5. I know as a dad that would make me feel real comfortable if my daughter was at UF.
Yeah, and one of the things we did a couple of years ago when we were trying to get campus carry passed in Florida, we looked at the uniform crime reporting for the University of Florida and Florida State University and all the universities in Florida. And what we found was that the University of Florida had almost no incidents of sexual assaults, almost no crime happening that they were actually reporting on their campus. Many times lower than every other campus in the state. Statistically impossible numbers that they're actually reporting to the federal government. Campus crime
is. The problem is it's funny. A very few of the cases that have gone up on appeal that Second Amendment Foundation has done, that Alan Gura has done, in some of their cases, they've actually gotten to the point of having hearings in the trial court where they've presented evidence as to crime statistics, or they've had testimony from police officials saying this is why we have this rule that we have. Florida Carry has not come across that situation yet. So far, every case that we've ever brought has been dismissed at the initial stage before even a response to the lawsuit has been filed, and then we've appealed it and it's gone up on appeal. And we've got a few of those that are in that stage. But hardly any of them do we ever get to present evidence in. We've got a couple that are based on other issues that we may get to present evidence in soon, but none of the right to carry cases ever get there.
Sorry, I was muted. I was talking. So what's the like? I mean, from your past experiences and your the information you have on this case, what's the likelihood that you guys will see a victory on this one?
UF, we have. There's really 2 main issues from our perspective in the UF case. One is whether or not UF has complied with has already complied with the court's rulings on right to have a gun in the car. UF's argument is, we're not banning guns in cars. We've complied completely. We've done everything we were supposed to do. Our position is, no, you're trying to mislead students into thinking they still can't despite the court ruling. For purposes of the other issue that we've raised is the right of students to have a firearm in their dorm room or in campus housing. It's not limited to dorm rooms, because campus housing at UF has a very wide range, all the way from traditional dorms to single-family units.
Well, and not all of that university-managed housing is actually campus housing. So
yeah, the university owns all campus housing. So we've got the issue. So the other issue is the housing issue. I think we have a very strong chance at that, given the Supreme Court precedent, if not in all of the housing, at least some of the housing. I could very easily see the court saying, well, one type of housing is distinguishable from another by its character and nature. But I got to tell you, these attacks certainly raise an issue of a legislative issue for a fix, or also a issue that we can bring to the courts. Of course, the university would argue that, well, guns are just going to increase the likelihood of this happening on campus, even though that's never been borne out anywhere. Guns have been deregulated or greater legality has been given to them. The university would certainly argue that, as opposed to we would argue that, well, guns will make these kids safer. That's not part of our current claim at this point. So I don't know whether we might make that claim at some point or not.
Well, and part and parcel to the anti-gun argument quite often is, well, responding to violence with a gun, that's just adding more violence, and that just makes things worse. And I'm sorry, I just have to reject that argument, because shooting a rapist, I see as being a whole lot better than someone being raped. A person who's going to attempt to rape a young woman on campus, I have no problem with that person being shot. That's not adding more violence. That's protecting the innocent.
The really interesting thing, though, guys, is University of Florida even bans pepper spray from being carried on campus.
And let's face facts. I don't think you're going to see a great deal of girls shooting guys who supposedly raped them. The ones that are actually being raped, yeah, maybe they'll shoot someone. But the ones that just get drunk, have sex, feel regret the next day, and file student union charges, they're not going to be shooting somebody during. So
no. But this guy that we're talking about, I mean, this current incident,
they're going to make an argument that every girl that gets that files rape charges is going to end up shooting the guy that she files rape charges against. No, that's not going to happen.
No. Look. Reality is most rapes on a college campus are of what are commonly referred to as date rape cases.
And they're usually filed weeks to sometimes months after the event. Too.
Right. We're not We're not going to suddenly have shootings over those. But
they're going to make the argument. If girls on campus start having guns, they're just going to start shooting every guy that touches them inappropriately during a frat party.
Oh yeah, and we heard that a couple of years ago when we tried to pass campus carry. Jilted lovers are in campus with their tender little hearts and are going to be shooting each other. Not to mention all of our students are on drugs and drunk all the time, and just too irresponsible.
Sean, who was our serial killer here at UF or FSU years ago? Who was that? Was
Ted Bundy?
Ted, yeah, Teddy boy. This ain't the first time they've had a serial violent attacker at UF. And I forget how many girls Ted Bundy killed before he got caught. I thought it was interesting. They really want the kids to rely on phone apps, to warn them of problems. They banned pepper spray even, but every store in town has sold out of pepper spray. And their campus protection group is telling girls that pepper spray is not a good thing to use.
I'm having a feeling that the best recourse that's going to eventually come around is really what's going to happen is when a family member or a person who gets raped files enough of a lawsuit that they bankrupt a couple of universities.
Well, in the wonderful state of Florida, as in most states, if you sue a state university, your damages are capped at, in Florida, it's $200,000. And, oh, by the way, if I, the lawyer, sue anybody else for a client, I get 40% of the recovery, and I can get as much money as a jury decides to give me. But if I sue a university that's a state actor, I'm capped at $200,000 in damages, and I cannot get more than 25% of that, not my normal 40% if I take it on contingency. And it doesn't matter how badly they misbehave or what kind of offers they turn down, the $200,000 is an absolute limit unless and until I go to the legislature and get the legislature to give me more.
That's what I'm saying. That's what we need to do. That's going to have to happen. They can't. These institutions that are not state institutions, they are private moneymakers for a lot of people, whether they call them state institutions or not. They're raking in tons of money for private industry. They need to stop suffering these protections that they should not have.
That's what happens when you have high friends in high places with lots of money.
Well, and part of this, and you know, you hear a lawyer going, "Oh, well, yeah, they cut into my pocket. Normally, I would get more money if they was going after anybody else." The thing is, and part of the way this is calculated, is to keep the good lawyers from taking those cases.
I mean, the only serious sovereign immunity case I've ever seen a great lawyer take was one that involved a dead child put into the care of a bad foster mom, where they were pretty confident they could go to the legislature afterwards and say, "Hey, legislature, this kid's family deserves more money than this," and they were successful. But it takes that kind of level of egregiousness to get there.
I can't reach my mic and I'm hammering.
What the fuck is that?
Home gunsmithing?
Apparently, Yankee getting hammered.
He's killing a centipede.
Oh, that's too funny.
Stoneguy, where is that picture at?
Say it again.
Where is that statue in that picture at?
At an art museum in Atlanta.
Which at the High?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. The High is one of those places. 3 years living in Atlanta, and I never made it to.
Oh yeah.
The High and the World of Coca-Cola. 3 years living in Atlanta, I never made it to the High, the World of Coca-Cola, or Underground.
Yeah, the World of Coca-Cola is the worst.
That's just a joke they play on Americans.
Yeah.
And get you to go in there and drink the nastiest fucking shit in the world, saying this is what they drink in Afghanistan. And no, it isn't. It's just some nasty shit they made up to see if Americans would drink it.
And they charge you a shit ton of money to go in there too, and it's like not even worth it. But it's like $40 to go to that place.
Really?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Oh, and Eric, you'll find this interesting. Daniel here went to UF, and he brought up the specific course you have to take on and off campus to go store your firearms.
Yep.
Daniel, you have to take a course to be able to store your firearms at the police department there?
No. So
the route.
When you store your firearm at the police station, right?
Oh, yes.
You bring it to them at a specific route. So I don't know how familiar you are with the area, but you basically.
Well, I read the rule that you have to enter through this entrance at this intersection and drive this route to get there. Okay, I did read that regulation, but tell me about what the real route is.
So you on Southwest 13th Street, there's a turnoff on the Museum Road. You turn on the Museum Road, you go straight, and then the police station will be probably half a mile on the left. That is the quickest route from the border of the university to the police station. That is the exact route you have to take in and out when you go to drop off your firearm and retrieve it to go to like the range.
Oh my gosh.
I never had guns before I was 21, and I moved out of the dorms after freshman year, so I never had to deal with any of this kind of crap. But yeah, that's pretty much what you have to do.
Do they watch you to make sure you exactly go on that path, or if you deviate from that path, do they send like an MRAP after you or something ridiculous? Like,
if they catch you coming in from the wrong direction and then checking your gun, you could wind up expelled.
That's BS. Like,
yeah, you get
expelled. It shouldn't matter how you get there, as long as you have the intention of going there. That should, yeah.
Because I mean, from their perspective, they don't want you driving around the rest of campus with a gun in your possession, however way you have it, right? It's just
we have a student that we dealt with a couple of years ago who was expelled from a college here in Florida because he had a letter opener in his dorm room.
Yeah, it was actually it was a letter opener that his brother had brought back from a mission trip, no less.
So if you folded up a pop can in this place and made it sharp, you'd be expelled. It's not. That's what I'm hearing from about this college.
So one of my friends is a lawyer in Florida, and I had him look over the University of Florida rules and stuff, and apparently there were no rules against common pocket knives. So they called out.
Gotten that stupid yet?
They what?
They hadn't gotten that stupid yet.
Okay, yeah.
They will at some point.
Because I had him check that before I started carrying around my knife with me. But that's
However, they do say that you can't have a box cutter unless you're working at the bookstore opening boxes. There's a lot of things that you would consider just general day-to-day tools that they classify as weapons.
Actually, under Florida law, it is illegal to have a razor blade. It's illegal, and under Florida law, it is illegal to shave in the dorm rooms.
Seriously?
So a straight razor?
I didn't know that law.
Wait, what?
Every student at UF should be sporting a beard that lives in the dorms, because the way the statute reads, there is no way you can have a razor blade in a dorm room.
That's ridiculous.
I didn't think that one through.
Then they'll complain that everybody has beards and they want to know why nobody's shaving.
Now,
Yeah,
I
you're
don't
giving
know
a
if
bad
anyone
image.
actually trying to enforce
No, we
waving
actually
with
not
Bic
trying to
razors.
enforce it. But that is the way the statute reads.
That's completely BS.
So it's just kind of like those archaic laws that are still on the books, but they just never took off. Like you can't wash your goat in a public place on Sunday or something like that.
You're not allowed to shoot whales in Tennessee. That's against the law.
Yeah, a lot of whales in Tennessee.
You got a lot of whales up there?
Yeah, there's a law in the books though. You can't shoot a whale in Tennessee.
What if the whale is threatening me?
Well, then you might be able to get away with it. But then again,
there's a law in Georgia that you can't beat your wife unless it's on the courthouse steps after noon or something on Sunday or something. It's
I'd like to see someone try that one. I doubt that works.
I wonder how that works.
Yeah, it Wisconsin law. The only type of sex you can have legally is missionary with a man and woman.
Oh, that's very.
Well, there's a lot of states. What is it called? What's the
sodomy?
Sodomy is what they call
oral, it. Like if your wife can't give you a blowjob legally.
Yeah, that law was actually challenged in Texas years ago and struck down by, I think it was the Fifth Circuit, or was that the U.S. Supreme Court?
It almost sounds like a law straight out of like Utah or something.
It's really weird. Yeah, you gotta be married. You have to be with your spouse, and it's got to be missionary. It's the only type of sex that's legal in Wisconsin.
I could just see somebody getting arrested for something else. That'd be interesting to see in court.
Yeah. Those laws have actually been struck down. It might still be on the books, but they're unenforceable.
Yeah, that's basically it. But it's still on the books. It's just kind of like you can't watch your donkey on your front porch.
Yeah. Well, shit.
Overhaul and fix all that.
What did we start? We started at 10:30, so hell, we haven't even been on 2 hours yet. So, but over an hour, a little over an hour. So, but I'm getting sleepy, so I'm gonna call it here. We can continue this in the after show. I think Gun Channels has an open lobby, but I'm gonna shut this one down. I appreciate everybody tuning in and everybody that joined on the panel and kept the conversation going. I appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.